हरे कृष्ण। ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion. It's a very nice chapter because this is going to give us Bhagavatam in 4 verses. And before that, also there are so many interesting things that are mentioned. We'll try to see what are the answers that are given by Sukadeva Goswami. It says that Atmastattva Vishuddhartam Yadaha Bhagavan Ratam Brahmane Darshayan Rupam Avyalika Pratartha. It says that, O king, the personality of Godhead, being very pleased with Lord Brahma because of his non deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga, presented his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma, and that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned souls. That means we have to please the Lord with our Bhakti Yoga, and we have to make the Lord happy. Atma Tattva is the science of both God and living entity. Both the Supreme Lord and living entity are known as Atma. The Supreme Lord is called Paramatma, and the living entity is called Atma, the Brahman or Jiva. Both Paramatma and Jivatma, being transcendental to material energy, are called Atma. So Sukadeva Goswami speaks this verse with the aim of purifying the truth of both the Paramatma and Jivatma. Generally, people have many wrong conceptions about them. The wrong conception of Jivatma is to identify the material body with the pure soul, and the wrong conception of Paramatma is to think him on an equal level with the living entity. Oh, but both misconceptions can be removed by one stroke of Bhakti Yoga, just as in the sunlight, both the sun and the world and everything within the sunlight are properly seen. In the darkness, one cannot see the sun, nor himself, nor the world. In sunlight, one can see the sun, himself and the world around himself. Srila Sukadeva Goswami therefore says that for purification of both wrong conceptions, Lord presented his eternal form before Brahmaji, fully satisfied by Brahma's non-deceptive way of discharging Bhakti Yoga. Except for Bhakti Yoga, any method for realization of Atma or science of Atma will prove deceptive in long run. This is a very nice understanding. So Prabhupada basically is telling there are two types of misconception: thinking that we are Lord or thinking Lord to be Jivatma. These are the misconceptions, and the way to overcome the misconception, the method is given is you have to perform Bhakti Yoga. Now this is like yesterday we are discussing how Vidyam the both Vidya and Avidya. Both are dangerous. Means so-called knowledge. Knowledge is important, but the so-called knowledge is dangerous. This is many people have the so-called knowledge, especially in Kali Yuga. This is very very prominent. The so-called knowledge of people is causing so much trouble. If I remember, we discussed previously also. Anything that comes, there are two. There is one more ignorance also. Ignorance of scientist. What is that ignorance? Is that is knowledge, but that is more dangerous than ignorance, because that knowledge is acquired by how? By destruction. Any research or an experiment they do, they destroy, get it. And that is why the knowledge is also destructive ultimately. Like say, if they are studying some animals to get something out of it, to understand the animal, what they do? First, they kill the animal to know about the animal. The knowledge is acquired by destruction. Because we are getting knowledge by destruction, they break into atoms, protons, neutrons, everything they break. Because anything comes from destruction will ultimately destroy us. That knowledge. That means it is another type of, this knowledge is more dangerous than ignorance. Yes, previously there was no nuclear weapons. Now we have so many weapons, and people they put the weapons, and now you can see how many people are dying because of wars. They come, they drop bombs on some uh, civilians and residential places, and many people die. Previously, they used to have bows and arrows. At least they were fighting in the outskirts of the city. And whomever they were fighting, they were only killed. In Vedic culture, that was never that they were killing general people. Even though the kingdoms they used to have fight, but they used to have fight between the kings and the soldiers. Nothing to do with them. Now that was, they are having higher knowledge. That's why. Now they don't have knowledge, but they have weapons. And because of which what happens is people they destroy each other. This is the problem with modern age. You have knowledge, but you don't, this is more dangerous than anything. Hope you are understanding the point. Like previously they were having proper knowledge, now they have knowledge which is more dangerous than ignorance also. That's why people know that where to do dharma. If a king, if you want to maintain his post as a king, what he need to do? Presently, what the kings have to do, the so-called kings have to do is they have to satisfy the public. They give them some nice facilities so that they vote. Previously, there used to be conquerors. They used to come conquer. Now there is no need of conquering. After 5 years, they are only removed by people. Somebody else is placed. And because of which, what happens? The person who is coming to the post also, no, he don't take any responsibility. He thinks I just have to please the people below me, and then I can continue as a king. That's actually what is happening. But previously, kings were not like that. They used to properly live by dharma. They know if I follow dharma, I will protect my citizens because dharma rakshati rakshit. The way to protect the people is by following dharma. That is what is the understanding previously. And the kings used to very strictly follow dharma. And that's why they were respecting brahmanas, because brahmanas used to guide them how to what is dharma and all. And the kshatriyas are very powerful, but still they followed brahmanas because they understood this person is more powerful than me because he has more knowledge. And kshatriyas were very strict in following because that will help the people under them to follow the rules also very strictly. So we were discussing on Ram Navami how Lord Ram sent Mother Sita to forest. He is doing it. Of course, that is Leela part. That is Lord want to experience Vipralambha Bhava. That is the main reason about it. But another reason in a normal way, what lesson is that if the king is very strict, it will help everyone. That is the important point. If a king is strict, he is following dharma, nobody has any excuse to do anything wrong. That is what Lord Ram wanted to teach. He didn't want to give any excuse to any people that mm, because he is also doing, I can also do. No. At any cost, I am following the rule. You all have to follow the rules. There is no option for you. And that's why they were Raja Rishis. Any king is very, very righteous. He enjoyed all facilities. Everybody used to serve him, respect him, offer him obeisances. He was given so much luxury. But there is a price for it. What is the price? They have to follow very strictly. One time, the king's Manu, he took renounce order of life. He goes to the forest, and then some kings they go to him, take an advice, and then they ask him, "So, what is the king should do? What are the things you advise?" And he started telling very strict rules. This should be followed. This should be followed. This should be. This is the standard. This is the standard. And it became cloudy and it is thundering. So heavy. And the kings, after everything, they said, "This is all rules only. Is there anything that they can enjoy?" Then Manu says, "Yes, people will respect you. That is the only thing you get. But you have to follow all the standards." That is the point. We need to come to a stage where we are properly following the. Of course, the kings used to very. Now, what happens is people will get an excuse. My king only don't do follow. So what is wrong for me? I can also do. This is actually what is happening presently. People they don't fear of doing wrong. They only want that somehow we should escape. They are planning how to escape the mistake. They are not fearful of doing the mistake. That is the problem presently. And if somebody is caught and put in prison and all, what they say? They say, see, everybody is doing. I am caught, they are not caught. Now all politicians, they make so much of money. Now how do they get that money? Everybody knows, but nobody can do anything. That is another system with our judiciary. Everybody nicely amasses money after they become the leaders, politicians. They become big politicians, and their property go on increasing, and lakhs of crores. But nobody can do anything because they have so many ways how to escape. This is the point. If you are escaped, then you are the considered most intelligent, and that's how people are. They are not in terms of following dharma. Problem is like that. Anyway, that is one part I wanted to tell why it is important for Kshatriyas to follow the rules, dharma. So that's what Lord Ram wanted to set an example. He tried to do this because he wanted to set an example. And now people, what happens is this is completely because of ignorance. And whatever knowledge they have, it's all destructive. Now, here in this section, what we need is the knowledge from Bhagavatam. Very important is to understand Krishna with the gopis. The relation between Krishna and gopis. We need to understand all the levels which are given in Bhagavatam about the absolute truth. We discussed in the structural review also that morning class also we discussed how there are 8 different concepts of absolute truth. The highest conception is the Parakiya Ras between Krishna and the gopis. That is the highest form of Krishna. But to understand that, we need to have the realization of other forms of the Lord also. and that is, and there are, of course, there are some misconceptions which we have about the absolute truth, that also will be removed. And here, uh, this is very, all these explanations which acharyas are giving, or Prabhupada is giving, will be helpful for us to come out of. So Prabhupada read further. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that only by Bhakti Yoga can one know Him perfect. And then one can enter into the science of God. Brahmajyoti, Brahmaji undertook great penance in performing Bhakti Yoga, and thus he was able to see the transcendental form of Lord. His transcendental form is 100% spiritual, and one can see him only by spiritualization after proper discharge of tapasya penance in pure Bhakti Yoga. The form of Lord is manifested before Brahmaji is not one of the forms with which we have experience in the material world. Brahmaji did not perform such severe types of penance just to see a form of material production. Therefore, the question by Maharaj Parikshit about the form of Lord is answered. The form of Lord is Satchidananda, or eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. But the material form of living being is neither eternal, nor full of knowledge, nor blissful. That is the distinction between the form of Lord and that of the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, however, can regain his form of eternal knowledge and bliss simply by seeing the Lord by means of bhakti. The summary is that due to ignorance, the conditioned soul is engaged in the temporary varieties of material forms, but the Supreme Lord has no such temporary forms like the conditioned souls. He is always possessed of an eternal form of knowledge and bliss. This is the difference between the Lord and the living entity. One can understand this difference by process of Bhakti Yoga. And Prabhupada says, very important point, the sound of Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental, and the resonance of Srimad Bhagavatam is as good as that of the Vedas. Thus, the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of both the Lord and the living entity. Regular reading or hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam is also performance of Bhakti Yoga, and one can attain the highest perfection simply by association of Srimad Bhagavatam. Both Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit attain perfection through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the point. Sadidevo Jagatam Paro Guru Swadishnyamasthaya Sisrikshayikasata Tamnadyaya Gacchati Drishyamaर्थसम्मताम् प्रपञ्च निर्माण विधिर्यत यया ब्रवत्. He says that Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, could not trace out the source of his lotus seed, and while thinking of creating the material world, he could not understand the proper directions for such creative work, nor could he find out the process of such creation. So Brahma really had a tough time. He could not do it on its own. This verse is the prelude for explaining the transcendental nature of the form and the abode of the Lord in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. It has already been said that the supreme absolute truth exists in his own abode without any touch of the deluding energy. Therefore, the kingdom of God is not a myth, but factually a different and transcendental sphere of planets known as Vaikunthas. This will also be explained in this chapter. Such knowledge of spiritual sky far above this material sky and its paraphernalia can be known only by dint of devotional service or bhakti yoga. The power of creation by Lord Brahma was also achieved by Bhakti Yoga. Brahmaji was bewildered in the matter of creation and he would not even trace out the source of his own existence. But all this knowledge was fully achieved by him through the medium of Bhakti Yoga. But by Bhakti Yoga, one can know the Lord, and by knowing the Lord as a supreme, one is able to know everything else. One who knows the Supreme knows everything else. This is the version of all the Vedas. Even the first spiritual master Arjunas was enlightened by the grace of the Lord. So, who else can attain perfect knowledge of everything without the mercy of Lord? If anyone desires to seek perfect knowledge of everything, he seek the mercy of Lord, and there is no other means to seek knowledge on the strength of one's personal attempt to, is a sheer waste of time. I will just uh, share few things. This is important understandings. So here Krishna explains in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. That means this is a yoga of theoretical knowledge and practical achievement. This is very important. It's not just theory, it's also practically we should achieve something. So Krishna explains theoretical knowledge in the seventh chapter, and he says there is material nature and there is spiritual spark, and everything is very simple. There are two categories, the highest and the lowest. There is matter and there is spirit. So everything is simple, and they are fundamentally different from each other because one is endowed with consciousness, the other has no consciousness. And everything seems simple, everything is elemental, everything is logical. One energy can be aware, it can feel, that means the spirit is aware, it can feel, and another energy is insensitive, it is matter. But if everything was limited to a purely theoretical understanding, it would be very simple. There is knowledge, there is theory, but there is experience also. Experience is practical. But unfortunately, man is structured in such a way that theoretical knowledge alone is not enough for him to understand any truth very deeply. So, a simple, we can understand this, like say, theoretical knowledge of driving a car. I can teach on the Zoom class how to drive a car. If you have automatic without gear or with gear, I can teach. But after learning this theoretical class, you cannot directly go and drive a car because it's a theory. Like, say, swimming. I can give a very nice theory class on swimming or riding a bicycle. But when somebody is thrown in the middle of ocean, the theoretical class won't help. The theory may interfere with us at the moment because if you remember how to swim, the and crawl correctly, we will forget to plunder and the theory we remember may drown also. Now, like theoretical understanding that I am soul and being a soul, I am independent of matter is a good theory. It's a beautiful theory also. But unfortunately, in order for theory to become practical, to become my life, what a person should feel that his soul also, an immortal soul for his own experience. Because what happens is, this is a good theory. I am not the body. But unfortunately, we forget wherever we come in front of a mirror. It happens for everyone. I don't know about sannyasis, but I can tell. Because we shave, then we look here, how hair is remaining. So, and if somebody, some hair is here remaining not properly shaved, they become angry. "Arey, why did you shave like this?" So the point is, we forget that we are not the body, and we can theoretically know that I am immortal does not mean that I'll stop being afraid of death. I'll still be afraid of death. And because okay, there should not be death now for us. I am spirit soul. Why I am afraid of death? Because I identify with the body, that's why there's death. So theoretically we can understand that I am immortal soul, not related to body. But when it comes to matter, we say I can't. When we need some practical, we forget very quickly. We know theoretical, I myself give so many time classes. Theoretically, it is good. Theoretically, we know lust is bad, anger is bad, and that obeying matter or material impulses is bad. But in practice, we obey them all the time. We obey lust, greed, anger, pride. And when we feel hungry, we don't remember that we are eternal souls, independent of nothing. We may become angry if prasad is late. And we want to sleep. We don't want to remember this beautiful theory when we sleep. In practice, it is real. The soul, in spite of the fact that it belongs to the higher energy, it submits to the lower energy. That is all. And Prabhupada is also explaining how a living entity is bound hand and foot with ropes, and we are held captive in this material world. The soul is free. The soul has tremendous power. The soul cannot be subordinate to material energy. But the simple fact remains that I am completely captured by matter. Someone is captured more, someone is captured less. In animal body and plant body, they are captured more. For us, we are captured little less comparatively. That's all. And when we see, it is easy to understand that the development of man, of the evolution of man, lies precisely in the degree of his freedom, right, from the lower animals. The more the living entities is a flexible mission, when it remains as a mission, then it belongs to the lower energy. Your understanding. If I am acting more according to the material nature is controlling me more, that means my body is of a lower nature. If I am able to overcome the temptations of the nature, forces of nature, I am evolving myself. Animals don't have freedom. They are just controlled. They are just a reflex mission. That's all. If you put some bread, the dogs or monkeys, they will all jump there. But if we see somebody, you go to somebody's house and they keep some sweet in front of you, without their permission, we don't take it. Why? Because we understand we are not reflex mission. We have some control. We are given some buddhi. I may like that sweet, but I'll not snatch it and run away. But monkeys, if they see, they snatch and they run away. They are reflex missions. We are not reflex. The more reflex mission means that belongs to a lower energy. Animals do not have freedom. That's why evolution, in fact, the development of realization of freedom is already inherent. This is already inherent in us. Freedom from lower energy, freedom from instincts, and freedom from one's own, that is development of man. Yeah. And now, very important, evolution, the development of realization of freedom is called evolution. Understand? The development or realization of freedom is already inherent. And freedom from lower energy, freedom from instincts, freedom from one's own karma. Lower energy, instincts, and own karma. Of course, they are all connected. But if we are getting free from it, that means we are evolving. Because what is our mission or the mechanism of our body? The mechanism of our body is just something produced by karma, produced by material energy, right? Now, when we come to astrology, look at the horoscope with great interest. I was also very interested many times in childhood. I read myself some astrology books. I don't remember anything, fortunately. And what horoscope with great interest people read, and what it tells with great, we began to find out that we have Mars, we have Jupiter, we have Venus, everything is there in our chart. Sometimes people think that this is a spiritual thing. No, all listeners, they are not spiritual because even astrologers, they thought, oh, it's also spiritual. You have to wear this, you have to do this puja, it's all spiritual. But even astrologers themselves, when they found themselves in strange situations in their life, they forgot everything about their astrology. All that first glance, considering seeing this material predestination, we cannot understand. The soul is by nature free, but my freedom, it is my slavery. There are 9 planets, 12 houses, 12 constellations, different combinations, events that happen to me, and most importantly, reactions that are already programmed in my city operator. This is what is my slavery. And if I understand that I am free from all these things, I don't have to obey this. And that's it. That will be the end of our karma. Very moment when we come to an understanding that I don't have to do anything with all this. The business is different. I, when it comes to business, it turns out that I am bound hand and foot with all these things. That is why when we come to Krishna, then we will become free from all these problems. Therefore, Krishna begins in Bhagavad Gita also. He says, Daiviyesha gunamayi mama maya durate. This maya you cannot come out. But he says, Mamevaya prapadyante maya metam tarit. You want to come off of these bonds which are tying your hands and feet and everything. You want to come out of it, only with my help you can come out of it. And that getting rid of this energy is not so simple. That although it is theoretically easy to understand, it is very difficult to get rid of it. In practice, to feel our freedom and begin to act as a soul. That all the spiritual practices are designed to free man from slavery of matter. Please try to understand. All the spiritual practices are designed to free man from the slavery of matter. We can look at some other spiritual practices, Christianity, spiritual practices, even Muslim spiritual practices. They all refer to the higher self of a person, and they say you are free. No one has right to order you to act in accordance with your lower nature, and you should understand this higher nature and act accordingly. Right? And there are many ways to understand this. And Krishna explains that if you really and solely you depend on me, then you will achieve everything. Like we will, I'll just read one more. Here, these are the things which Sukadeva Goswami is also telling how Brahma achieved it. He just not theoretical knowledge, he realized it is because he did sadhana. For us also, that is the method. We need to perform our sadhana to achieve this. We cannot just theoretically. Uh, while Yeah, there is now. This is what is Brahma's story. So first, what happened? Brahma appeared, and here, what he did, Brahma, the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, could not trace out the source of his lotus. So I was telling there are eight conception of absolute truth. This is the first conception. What is that? Samshaya, doubt, whether the Lord exists or not. And Brahma, this past tense is actually indicating about that conception of the truth, whether he exists or not. And Brahma, when he came, he tried to search the truth. What is the source? And he could not trace out the source of his lotus seed. And while thinking of creating the material world, he could not understand the proper direction for such creative work, nor could he find out the process for such creation. So he could not understand. So many people, they are also trying to know the truth, understand it, but they, after doing their own attempt, then they get doubt whether really it exists or not. This is the first misconceptions. By overcoming these misconceptions and understanding different levels, we can ultimately come to Krishna with the gopis. This is the first one it starts with. In the second canto, Brahmaji is little bit in a state where he is not understanding. This is सचिन्तयन् वै अक्षरम् एकददाम्बस्य उपासन्दोद्विर्गदितं वचो विभु स्पर्शेषु यत्सोदशमेकवा एकविंशम् निष्किञ्चनानां नृपयद्धनं विदु. He says that while thus engaged in thinking, Brahmaji heard twice from nearby in the water two syllables joined together. One of the syllable was 16th and the other the 21st of the Sparsha letters, and they joined to become the wealth of the renounced order of life. That means from A, E, E, there are vowels and consonants. So these are the numbering from that alphabet. The Sanskrit propagates the consonants are divided into two groups, namely Sparsha Varnas and the Tala Varnas. From Kha to Ma, the letters are known as the Sparsha Varnas. And the 16th of the group is Tha, whereas the 21st letter is Pa. So when they are joined together, the word Tapa or penance is constructed. This penance is the beauty and wealth of the Brahmanas and the renounced of life. According to Bhagavatam philosophy, every human being is meant simply for this tapa and for no other business, because by penance only can one realize his self. And self realization, not sense gratification, is the business of human life. The tapa or penance was began from the very beginning of the creation, and it was first adopted by the supreme spiritual master Lord Brahma. By tapasya only can one get the profit of human life and not by polished civilization of human life. Animals does not know anything except sense gratification in the jurisdiction of eat, drink, be merry and enjoy. But the human being is made to undergo tapasya for going back home, back to body. It's very nice, Prabhupada writes. Prabhupada is so clear all the time. He is never, and that's why Prabhupada is speaking truth. That's why he is able to attract very sincere people. Prabhupada is not compromising. If Prabhupada little bit compromise, he can make so many followers. But Prabhupada is not doing like that. And because of which what happens, there are some living entities, sincere living entities, because in Kali Yuga, some truthfulness is also there. That type of living entities will come. This is another important thing in our preaching also. In our preaching, we should always go for giving the truth and that will help us to not be in anxiety, because we search for the truth and we give the truth. We will not get many numbers, but we'll get sincere people. And that will be very easy for our life also. Spiritual life becomes easy for us. We need not make much endeavors. We just have to learn the truth, explain the truth. And whomever we are discussing, they are also interested in truth. They are not interested in some jokes, stories, or some entertainment. They are very they have business. We talk business. That's all. And that's why I like some speaker, Balram Shikti and all, because they are into business. They are not into any entertainment, pure devotion. And whoever is interested, they will attend. There is nothing to so much in anxiety, prepare anything. You just have to speak proper the truth, and which will help. And we have to practice, and that type of cycle only we should keep around us. Only that will remain. Sometimes what happens is to, if there are people, we want to hold everyone. That is not correct. Don't try to hold. We have to hold the truth, and whoever is interested in it, they will hold us. We will give whatever is there, but try to impress anyone, it is not possible. So in the 10, only 6 may remain, but 6 people are very serious people who are interested in truth will remain. The other people may not be interested, they are interested in something else, but they are not so serious about it. So they may not continue, but for us it becomes easy. Life is easy for us. We are not in any anxiety. And if somebody is very sincere, we can help them to any extent. That will not be any problem. We can help. But whom to help? Who are willing to hear only the truth. No, entertainment is there, fun is there, but it's business is serious. That is not the only thing we need. People come, nice Bhagavad Sapta, so many people are attending. And the person who is giving Bhagavad Sapta, he also has a responsibility to entertain. There is naturally some talent for some people who can do it. That is not a problem. But somebody who don't have it, who is having talent, na, they are using their talent in Krishna service. That is so easy for them. They can do it naturally. They need not go in any anxiety or anything. But somebody who don't have, you need not imitate. Let me hear from here, there, some 10 stories. Let me take some jokes from here. Let me prepare something. No need of so much uh, gymnastics. We just have to properly read Bhagavatam, and we should explain Bhagavatam. And whoever is coming to hear Bhagavatam, that is good enough for us. The number may be less, but the number are serious people. And everyday hearing people are more valuable than once in a week people. Everyday hearing means they are the most serious people, and we should take them more seriously than weekly ones to entertain and jokes. I am not telling we should not have. I am telling that somebody has the talent, he is able to do it like that, he can continue. But we need not separately become like that. We just have to Shreyam Swadharmo Vignaha. Just naturally we learn some things sincerely, practice. I am whatever I understand about Japa, I'll tell. Whatever I understand about Bhagavatam, I'll tell. I will not be in anxiety. Previously my class 60 people are coming, now only 10 are coming. No, don't worry. We have the 10 people, the most serious people who are interested in hearing the pure philosophy. That type of audience are safe for basically what? That I want to hear pure Bhagavatam. I want to speak pure Bhagavatam. So why when I hear, for me to understand it, I need to discuss with others. And who will listen? Who are serious, they will only hear. So my being with devotees is for discussion. Now I am speaking. By speaking, who is the person who will get most benefited, who will understand it more properly? I am myself. That means I want to always speak pure philosophy. If I want to speak pure philosophy, I need such type of devotees who are ready to hear that. So that is the point. If I get five also, that is not a problem. because they are here and pure. Like last 3 days, I was having three brahmacharis yatra. Three brahmacharis came. We had yatra, but it was easy because they are interested in. It is not number is not big, but number is serious. That will help me to speak. Now I will not be in anxiety. "Arey, what type of entertainment I should give them? What stories I should give? What katha I should do?" No, whatever little bit I know, purely whatever I'm hearing, I'm sharing with them. It's like that. So uh, things becomes easy, and that makes us progress also very nicely in bhakti. And that company is very safe for us. Even if I want to say something, then people will say, "Prabhuji, no, 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 just speak." Pure Bhagavatam, that is good enough. Like that. Now here, Prabhupada is also making things very clear. He says, this tapa or penance was began from the very beginning of creation. It was first adopted by the supreme spiritual master, Lord Brahma. By tapasya only can one get the profit of human life. So Prabhupada is very clear. Prabhupada also did not compromise. And because of which what happened? For him, things became quite easy. He was giving any class Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Prabhupada was always very, very pure and clear. He did not compromise anywhere. And that's the reason he could attract the most sincere souls. Otherwise, he could have made many, many. If Prabhupada would have come to India and he did not speak heavily, he'd have made many, many ministers, many, many celebrities, many, many sports people into his followers. Prabhupada did not do it. And Prabhupada writing, the animals do not know anything except sense gratification in the jurisdiction of eat, drink, and be merry. But human being is made to undergo tapasya for going back home, back to God. Whereas when Lord Brahma was perplexed about how to construct the material manifestation in the universe and went down within the water to find out the means and the source of his lotus seed, he heard the word tapa vibrated twice. Taking the path of tapa is the second birth of the desiring disciple. This is when our second birth starts, when we are ready to do tapasya. What is our tapasya? At least the desire should be there to give up sense gratification. Please understand that we should at least have a desire to give up sense gratification. Now, many times after some years, initially that very intense desire will be there. After some time in bhakti, people they don't even desire to give sense gratification. They say, Proji, what can be done? I am doing now my bhakti. I chant 16 notes, I attend Mangalarti, I do some services, I read books, and parallelly I am doing sense gratification because they are thinking it's okay to it's Prabhuji, we have to be practical, na? We have to live a normal life. We can live a normal life, but not a life of sense gratification and Prabhuji, I am offering everything, making nice feast. Nice feast is okay. It is not wrong. But it is not uh, it is not it is not in a desire to enjoy, it is in a desire to serve. I think there is uh, something with power supply because it is raining here in Vrindavan. Interestingly, it is supposed to be cold. It is raining. I just have to make some adjustment. I'll just read the purport and then I will just have to see where the power connection comes. So Lord Brahma was perplexed. So I was telling that people they think sense gratification normal, na bro. We should do it. We should do practical. It is not practical. It is sometimes it goes beyond limits. And see, it is not wrong. Means it's I'm not telling you, the desire is not there. Na, that is wrong. not the sense gratification. The main point what I am trying to tell is, if you don't have desire to give up, na, that is the mistake we are doing. That should not be done. Means at least we should know, okay, I am doing it, but in the future I will give up. At least that much desire should be there. That in future I will not do it. If that is not there, then there is something wrong. Just tell me. Yeah, the desire is not their problem. Now the tapasya is very tapo divyam putrakayanastam shuddhe tatma brahma sokyam tunanta. When we perform tapasya, then we can get higher realizations. Otherwise, there is no possibility. We are doing sadhana, but parallelly, what is happening is we are lighting the fire and pouring water. We will not get the benefit of our sadhana. The tapasya will not have power. When we when we desire, like Ekadasi is coming, we should mentally prepare. Roji, Ekadasi is not for feasting. And another thing, festival is also not feasting. How it can happen is, festivals, when it was celebrated, devotees used to call so many people to new people to temple. Because new people are coming, then we thought we should give nice prasad. And that's the reason festivals feast is made for new people. And now it became a trend. Festival means feast. It is not like that. Festival means fasting. We have to fast and little bit we have to take. Maybe Ekadasi Prasad little bit. We are little tired. Whole day we should chant, hear, read, and then little bit of Ekadasi Prasad. That was the system. But because now in all ISKCON temples, especially, that it became a, we thought, oh, how can we not have feast and festival? It is like they thought it is a rule. It's not like that. It was made like that because we are an organization. Things go sometimes in a different direction. But tapasya is what is meant for human life. And slowly, na, we have to, as the age progresses, tapasya should increase. At least Ekadasi we should start doing tapasya. We should not do so much sense gratification on Ekadasi. Our sense gratification by devotees is eating only. Of course, some people may have TV and movies and other entertainments also. But they can fast on Ekadasis, even from social media and food and other things. If they can try fasting, it will help them. It may, it looks very like Bhaktidev Damodar Maharaj. He has a very interesting vows. He, along with initiation vows, he has one more vow. He says, before completing 16 rounds, you should not touch mobile. That is the fifth regulative principle. First, you complete all your 16 rounds, then only you can touch your mobile. Otherwise, you are breaking a vow. It is a vow you give to the spiritual master. The point is what? It is to help our mind to become strong. See, why all this tapasya is basically not to remain an emotional state, to come to a level of buddhi, which will help us to come out of this material world. Dadame buddhi yogam. That's all. We need that buddhi. For that, we need to do tapasya. Otherwise, it won't work. I thought when I speak this, everybody will drop from the meeting. Still, you survived. You are continuing listening. That means you have so much. I was a little concerned whether should I speak or not. But I thought anyway, Prabhupada is talking, so I'm just repeating. Okay, we have some questions. uh, yes, Kiran. Bro.
సో హరే కృష్ణ దండోత్ ఇదే ప్రశ్న నిన్న ఒక డివోటీ అడిగారు ప్రభు ఏంటంటే నేను నైట్ షిఫ్ట్ చేస్తా సారీ ఇంగ్లీష్ కదా సో one of my friend asked me Prabhu regarding the japa timings. Is it good to chant in evening timing because that only time I can I will get free time and I can chant in and put something on that. మార్నింగ్ కుదరకూడదు. ఏంటి ఈరోజు ఇంగ్లీష్ రావట్లేదు.
Yeah, no problem, bro. If he is fixing a time and chanting at that time, not a problem. If he fixes his time, okay, 6 to 8 I will chant. That will not be a problem. He has to every day do at that time. Then the mind will focus. If you don't fix, then only mind will not focus. One mind will have problem.
No,
Mind
he's
is,
chanting approximately from the last 2 years, Prabhu. His chanting timing is evening 7 to 9, Prabhu.
that will not be a
Not
problem.
regularly, but he heard many sessions and like the devotees like you, they said that if you chant in early morning, it will be good for your something they said. So he was so confused and he asked me a suggestion. I thought I'll come to you and get clarification.
No, if he has fixed time, bro, not a problem. If he's every day doing at the time, then mind will cooperate. If you change, sometimes 6 o'clock, sometimes 9 o'clock, sometimes 3 o'clock, then you will have problem. He's making all his plans in such a way in a day that by the time he's free and he's only focusing on chanting, you tell him that you already prepare your mind that that time is only for chanting, no need of anything. Then it will help. Slowly, slowly, of course, the benefit will be little less compared to what you do in the morning because some distractions happen in the day. But he will not lose much. He will get it because he's fixed the time. Basically, regulation will help the mind to become strong. If he's regulated, he that will help.
Thank you, Harish.
Some rules are for some people, but anytime anything regulated is very good, and especially for family life, the most important thing to progress is regulation. Anything you can, if I am doing some sense gratification also, do it in a regulated. What will make our mind strong is regulation. Waking up, sleeping, eating food. Even if I am eating very, very, very opulent food only, I want to eat every day. No problem. But be regulated. Time should be same, and every you may make that in a time, and that time only you are eating, that time only you are sleeping, that time you are only chanting. If even one activity also we keep it on time, all other things will also change in life. So regulation will give our strength, and regulation is most difficult. We'll just complete this purport. Prabhupada writes very nice point in this. When Lord Brahma was perplexed about how to construct the material manifestation in the universe and went down within the water to find out the means and source of his lotus stem, he has heard the word tapa vibrated twice. Taking the path of tapa in the second birth of as a desiring disciple. So taking the path of tapa is the second birth of a desiring. The word upashrunot is very significant. It is similar to upanayana or bringing the disciple near to the spiritual master for the path of tapa. So that means whoever want to take initiation, they should be ready for tapa. So Brahmaji was thus initiated by Lord Krishna, and this fact is corroborated by Brahmaji himself in his book, the Brahma Samhita. In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma has sung in every verse, Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. Thus, Brahmaji was initiated into the Krishna mantra by Krishna himself, and thus he became a Vaishnava or a devotee of the Lord. Before he was able to construct the huge universe, it is stated in Brahma Samhita that Lord Brahma was initiated into 18-letter Krishna mantra, which is generally accepted by all the devotees of Lord Krishna. We follow the same principle because we belong to the Brahma Sampradaya, directly in the disciplic chain from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, from Vyasa to Madhvamuni, from Madhvamuni to Madhvendra Puri, from Madhvendra Puri to Ishwar Puri, from Ishwar Puri to Lord Chaitanya, gradually to his divine grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur and Prabhupada. One who is thus initiated in the disciplic section is able to achieve the same results or power of creation. Chanting of the holy mantra is the only shelter of the desireless pure devotees of the Lord. Simply by such tapasya or penance, the devotee of Lord achieves all perfection like Lord Brahma. So we will end here. Thank you all very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.